Hi friends! Today we're going to learn about winter snow art. Look at these beautiful snow people! Artists have been creating snow art for a very long time. This is the oldest known photograph of a snowman. It was taken in 1853 by Mary Dillwyn. And it's a little bit hard to see the snow person in this. So you can see its head right here, its body right here. This is a very old photograph. 1853. Oh my goodness. Today we make snow people, snow cats, snow dogs, and more. Have you ever seen a snow shark before? This family made a giant one in their front yard. When you create a three-dimensional art piece, it's called a sculpture. So this would be a sculpture of a shark. It's as big as their house. This family made Snoopy. Do you think you could make a sculpture out of snow? What would you make? There are snow carving festivals and competitions all over the world. This sculpture is bigger than them. How do you think they made it? Do you see the bird hidden in there? These giant sculptures are from a snow and ice carving festival in China. It takes several people and ladders to make them. How many people do you see in that sculpture? It's amazing what people can carve. Thousands of people come to the festival to see the artist's work. People don't just sculpt snow, they draw and paint it too. These art pieces were created by kids. It's time for us to try creating one too. What do you think your snow art will look like? So to create our snow person today, we're going to need a box of chalk pastels, a pencil, some Q-tips. You don't have to have the Q-tips. You could use your finger for blending instead, but they can be really nice to use. And a sheet of scratch paper for tapping off. Now, as we go to work today, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw our snow person. Now, you might decide you want to make it in the middle. You might want to have it off to the side. I wouldn't make it too little for what we're doing. So I would say you want it to be at least this big on your page. So you could place it over here, up here, over there. It's completely your choice where you place it. I think I'm going to be putting mine right about here. Now, if I want, I can draw with my eraser in the beginning. And then if I don't like it, I'll be able to just brush it off. So snow people traditionally have a larger circle on the bottom. So see how I can see that just with my eraser? And then our next circle is a little bit smaller. And they kind of cross over into each other a little bit. And then the top one is even smaller. Now you might decide to do something else. You might be inspired. So if you go in a different route, that's okay. I'm just going to teach one way to do it. So I've started with my snow person here. I could go ahead and trace over it with my pencil when I'm done. I can then take and draw in circle eyes, a nose, a mouth, and normally the mouth and the eyes, we use things like rocks, so we often make circles for them because that's what shape they are. And then we often will also use a carrot nose, so we'll make a triangle shape with a curve at the top to show that. You might decide you want to put a hat on your snow person. You want to draw in any kind of a hat, you can. You could put buttons on it. So we have a basic snow person drawn in. We're also going to maybe add in some stick arms. Now we can also add in a background. You'll notice in our slideshow, some of them had trees in the background, some of them had big snow. I'm going to go ahead and add in some snow into my background. So I'm going to take and make a curved line, almost like I have a hill of snow. And then I'm going to come to the other side and make some more. I could add in more drifts of snow if I want to. It's whatever I want to do. I could also take and add in a kind of a moon if I wanted to do, because this is going to be a night scene because we are on our black paper. You could do a half circle, you could do a quarter circle. You could draw it first with your eraser if you wanted to as well. So now I have my basic drawing done. And from here I'm going to go ahead and take my chalks right over my drawing. And I might even go over things, and it's okay. It's just kind of there for me to reference. Now as I go to do my snow person, the first thing I want to do is I want to take my white chalk and I'm going to go ahead and I will go right over my face. And don't worry, you're still going to be able to see it. It won't be a problem. I color in my face, I'm going to color in my body. And the reason we use white is because snow is traditionally white. But if you wanted to make yours a different color, you can. Now after I get it drawn, I want to do a little bit of a tap off because I have a lot of chalk on there, and remember we never blow with chalk, we always tap off. So I bring my scratch paper over and then I do a little bit of a tap off. Let me set this over to the side. Now we're going to be doing some shading in our snow person. We're going to be doing something called adding value. And value is when we take in some lights into our darks. So we have all of our lights, so we need to add in a little bit of dark now. And this will make our snow person look a little bit more three-dimensional. So I'm going to take my dark blue and I want to go to the opposite side of my moon, because if my moon is coming and hitting on this side would be brighter, and then this side would be a little bit darker because it wouldn't have as much moonlight. So on this side, I'm going to take my dark blue and I'm going to color in on half of the big circle, just a little bit. I'm going to color that edge in. And I'm going to do the same thing up in my snow person's face. And it's okay if it's not perfectly done because we are going to be using our Q-tips to do blending. Now after I do the light or the dark blue, then I'm going to do the same thing with my light blue. And if I wanted to have even a stronger one, I can also take and just do a little bit of my dark blue clear in to the center parts of my snowballs. Okay. Now once I get to this point, I can take my Q-tip and come over into the blues and just do a tiny, tiny bit of blending. I don't want to go into my white. It'll pull some of the white off. So I want to do just a little bit of blending, and I'm barely touching, just a little bit between my two blues. And then once again, I'm going to take and I'm going to do a tap off. And you can see how I'm starting to get some shading in my snow person. Now, if I feel like I've gotten it too dark, I could always take my white back in and I could add a little bit of white into it. Okay, so if you don't like how dark it got, it doesn't matter. You could take out as much of it as you want. But now I have some slight shading in my snow person. I want to add a little bit more dark blue over there. Now I want to go ahead and I'm going to work on my snow. Okay, so I'm going to take my white And I'm going to turn it on its side. I don't know if you remember doing this technique, but we are going to take and use the side of our chalk. We'll go right up next to our snow person. And we're going to put in all the snow that our snow person is sitting on. So we're going to go right up to that line we made. Now you can take with your finger and do a little bit of blending. It won't work quite as well with this. It'll see how it kind of takes it off with the white. So if you want to do some blending, I recommend doing a little bit with your finger. And if you want to, you could even take and add in some of these dark colors into your snow. So I'm going to add in a little bit above the little snowbank that I made. Remember how I had that line here? So I'm going to add in a little bit of a highlight there. And so that will give me a little bit of a depth in my snow. So if I want to add in any blues into my snow, I can. And I can also go in and add in some highlights. It's kind of fun to have some light areas and some dark areas in your snow. Now your snow person is going to have a little bit of a shadow down here. So the light is coming from the moon, hitting on our snow person. So there would be a little bit of a shadow right underneath. Now to put in this shadow, you take your dark color and first you make a line from the center of it just going straight out a little ways. And see how it's parallel. You can see how it's parallel to the bottom edge of my paper. And then I'm going to take and curl back. Okay, so it's kind of like I almost made like a laying down candy cane. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to fill it in. And that gives me a little bit of a shadow. And if I want, I could use my Q-tip to do a little bit of blending of it. And if I've lost it a little bit, I can take and add in just a little bit of white. Do a little bit of blending. And so now I have a shadow. If you made it too big, you can just take your white in afterwards and soften it up a little bit. So now I have my snow person and my snow. If I wanted to put in my moon, I can too. I could use yellow, I could use white. I can choose what color I want for it. And at this point, we might want to do a little bit of a tap off. So I'm going to pick up my paper gently, do a little bit of a tap off. So now I'm ready to finish my snow person. So the first thing I want to do maybe would be my hat, and you can make your hat any color you want. You can totally do what you want to do on it. Any color you want. That's if you even have a hat, maybe you don't. So finish up those finishing touches with the hat. You might choose to do more than one color. You might put in some stripes. You might want to put on a scarf. You might need to do a tap off as you work. You could put your arms on. Mine are going to be made out of branches. You can put on your carrot nose. Now when you go to do your face, I would do your face, it's going to be one of the last things that you do. And once you put it on, you don't want it taken out any more white or other colors because it's easy to smear. So you take your black and you can put on your face. You could put on buttons. You can do any other adjustments and tap it off. Now you probably have some smears up here like I do right now, and so one of the very last things you're going to do is we're actually going to make it snowing. So you take your white and we are going to do stippling. And we're going to just take and make snow falling down. And now if it's falling down, it would come in and fall in front of your snow person too. So make sure you make a little bit of snow falling on your snow person. We're making a bit of a blizzard here. Some snow falling down on the snow. You'll see how you'll get just little spots happening. Some snow falling on our snow person. Then we want to do a tap off. And now if there's anything you don't like up in here, you can take one of the clean ends of your Q-tip. You can make it a little more blizzardy, or you can just leave it. I've got some fingerprints, so I'm gonna go ahead and play with it a little bit and make it more like the snow is blowing around. And there I have my finished snow person, and it has value added in. Thanks for joining me today.